and 5 boys games on Sunday. Right now, we're going to stay with the Hardwood and talk to BW men's basketball coach Tom Heil. Coach, thank you very much for joining us. Greatly appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate being here.
First and foremost, Coach, I know that the season's not where you wanted to start record-wise, but what have you seen from the guys in the first 3 games?
We're obviously, man, timing is everything. You're talking to me at a tough time.
I know. I'm sorry, Coach.
I'm happy to be here. But, no, we're coming off a weekend that we were honored to have the opportunity to be included in the field at that Great Lakes Invitational at Wabash. Really good teams, high-level competition. The Wabash coach is a mentor of mine and a great friend. I was a GA for him for a year, and then I took over at Defiance when he left Defiance to go to Wabash. So a lot of exciting things from the weekend. How we played was not very exciting. Very, very disappointing. Probably as disappointed as I've been in a weekend in my career. I think we obviously didn't shoot the ball well. We've got some pretty good shooters that I think are just missing shots right now. And we kind of let that dictate how hard we played, which is frustrating. And it's honestly, it's a little bit of, usually immature teams kind of go through that. And we don't really have that immature of a group. We have a lot of experience. A lot of guys in new roles, especially in our bigs. But, that was a very disappointing part of the weekend. I think we've always had guys that play extremely hard, that are tough. We weren't real tough. We didn't play that hard. We were a little bit lazy, a little bit uncharacteristic this weekend. So we had a great practice tonight. I love the energy. I do think we've gotten some good feedback in our first 3 games from playing, schematically, defensively, how we're going to play, offensively, we've really struggled to guard. So I do think we've got some good clarity on how to become the best version of ourselves here moving forward, but a tough weekend for sure. We did not only did we lose, but we did not play well. We played very poorly.
So where does that resurgence and effort and defensive intensity start? Who are you looking for on your roster to really be that catalyst to say, it's one thing for you and your coaching staff to say it, it's another for the players to take it upon themselves to say, hey, we don't want that to be representative of Baldwin Wallace basketball. We know we can play better than that.
Yes. That's where it starts. We can talk till we're blue in the face, but, I've been in a jersey. You need the guys in the jerseys to take some ownership. And, we've got some really good seniors. Our 2 senior guards, Anthony Mazzio and Jake Snyder, neither had a great weekend, but I'll take those guys. Yeah, I love those guys. They're about a lot of the things that we want to be about, and they weren't consistently enough this weekend. But I trust those guys, leading us moving forward, and we've got a great test tomorrow night. Penn State Barron they're very good. I think they're really, really well coached. They're hard to guard. They had us beat last year. We beat them at home, but, they outplayed us for 35 minutes. They're very, very hard to guard. They're really disciplined. We are coming off of a weekend where we were incredibly undisciplined, really on both sides of the ball. Lack of patience at times on offense when we needed it, when we were struggling and other teams on a run, and we got to run some offense. And then a lot of undisciplined play defensively, going for fakes, leaving our feet, unnecessary fouls, those type of things. So Penn State Barron is not those things.
Right.
And it's an exciting challenge, especially coming off of some of the things that we addressed and talked about after the weekend. Pretty cool opportunity, I think, to go play. And listen, we got great guys in our locker room, and I'm grateful to have an opportunity to compete with them. It's fun. This is part of the process. I wish we would have played better, and I think, it starts with me. I've got to do a better job, I think, of putting them in better positions to be successful. We're going to play a little bit different here moving forward. Probably be a little bit more guards on the floor at times, and hopefully play 40-plus minutes every night with extreme urgency, which we haven't done yet.
Is it good to get those lessons out of the way early, though, so you don't have maybe a mid-season lull and you start a little slower, but then you know what you need to work on? You can have that launching point?
Absolutely. A basketball season's a long year.
Yeah.
You know, you got football; they've got 10 games, and which is a whole nother challenge. You know, our season's a long season. You know, we're about to have a Thanksgiving break. We're going to have a break at Christmas. Like you have to grow,
right,
and constantly evolve, or you don't play your best basketball at the end of the year, which is our goal in basketball. Basketball's a tournament sport. I mean, It's about being your best in February and March. So. I'm glad that you said that. I certainly haven't looked at this weekend as a blessing, but that's just part of competition. I think sometimes when you're not playing well, the silver lining is, yes, it's early, but we need to get some of the discipline things corrected and the effort. You know, usually there's not been very many times where I've watched the film after a game and thought we didn't play very hard. That's very few times have I really ever thought that. And I thought that twice. So we got to get that corrected, number one. And then I love our guys. I mean, we got good guys. They're embracing the journey of this season, and I think we'll be better on tomorrow.
Yeah, and it seems like despite being frustrated, you're still upbeat because of the guys in the locker room, and we want to talk about some of those guys. You mentioned two already in Anthony and Jake. Just how nice is it to have those guys in the backcourt together? In calling some of your games last year, we all know Anthony can fill up the basket.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's better than pretty good. He's really good, averaging 21.3 points a game so far this season. But Jake is kind of that do-it-all guy. He's extremely good at annoying other people's ball handlers, other teams' ball handlers. He's a really hard person to play against. Yeah. He's just a good defensive player, but he's also deceptive because you can forget about him because you have Mazzio that can score, you have Price that can score, you have Simmons doing all sorts of stuff on the court, and Snyder will be left open on a rotation, and bam, he'll hit a three, and it'll just light up the whole bench. I mean, it's really nice to have those guys that you can lean on.
Yeah, I think guard play, you can't, you couldn't overstate the importance of having good guards. I mean, that is basketball, I think, at any level.
I mean, you don't get the ball across half court if you don't have good guards.
You got to have great guards, and those two are as good as they come. I'm really excited for Jake. I think, Maz has he's been pretty good in stretches already. He had a little bit of a nasty fall and a big old volleyball-sized bruise on his hip, but
never fun to
he
play
wasn't
through.
No, he wasn't moving great, but he was still he was effective scoring the ball like he always is. And I'm excited for Jake because he hasn't shot it well. And when Jake's open, I never think he's going to miss.
Right.
And a law of averages say I think some shots are going to fall here pretty soon for him, but those two are where we start. I think Ashton Price is a really good player, and he's obviously in a much bigger role this year as a sophomore. And I would put him in the category with those guys. Those guys have so much more experience. I think Ashton is, as good as him at a lot of things, and those three guys are really where it starts for us. And none of them are shooting it as well as they're going to, which is exciting. Sometimes when you shoot it well, it covers up your mistakes.
Yeah.
And your deficiencies as a team. I think if there is a silver lining, we haven't shot it well.
Right.
We've missed a ton of free throws. So our deficiencies are, it's like a billboard you see from a mile away on the highway. So that's a blessing because I do think we have good shooters. I think we have a good shooting team. And we'll start making shots. So and it certainly starts with those guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Talk about your bigs up front. A little bit different of a lineup than what you've had in previous years, but you get Zoltan Nagy, more action. He started all three games for you. Gives you some length up front to help on the boards, and then you get Rob Watson the third off the bench to be that real help with lift the energy up.
Those guys have gotten a ton better. And obviously both are in much bigger roles than they were last year. I'm not proud of how they've handled that. With those guys right now, the biggest thing that we need from them is, we've got, especially this past weekend, we really got hurt on the glass. We got physically, those teams imposed their will physically on us, showed up on the stats sheet for sure, showed up in the paint. And I think those guys' growth in the paint as rebounders, post defenders, shot-altering kind of presence will be critical for us. They're both playing really hard, and I respect that. And, I don't think either had a great weekend, but I'll roll with those guys. I mean, they play hard. I think they're both very coachable. And I'd throw Jack Simmons right in with those guys. Like, they're all capable rebounders. And 3 games in, they will be so much better, 15 games from now than they are right now. And I think they've continued to grow, and they've been coachable. And if they can continue to do those things, and we can tighten up a little bit on the glass, we can make a few more free throws, I think things will dramatically improve.
Yeah, when you talk about what Jackson and what Rob can do for the team, after watching them play a good bit last year, I agree with you. Rolling with those guys is never a bad decision. I mean, those guys just bring it, intensity, physicality-wise. They have it, and now it's just a matter of pulling it out of them on a consistent basis.
Yep. Consistency's the word, man. You said it. I think that's what those guys are fighting for, is just consistency. And those bigs in particular, when your 2 exhibition games are against, Cleveland State and Kent State, not exactly the easiest for the big guys.
No, not at all.
The trying to rebound and defend in the paint around some pretty good Division I level bigs. So I think they're going to continue to get better. They're committed. They're pretty tough, and I'm excited to watch them grow.
Yeah. We'll get you out on this question, Coach. Is it nice to not have to stew on the weekend for too long before you get back out on the court? You had a practice today, and you get out there tomorrow in a game setting, and a chance to maybe get some, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but maybe get a little bit of redemption out there from the guys.
It's nice to honestly, after Friday's game against Rose, usually when you watch the film, you feel a little better. Knee-jerk reaction, emotional when you lose. You're like, feels like the world's going to end. You watch the film, and it's not as bad as you thought. It wasn't the case. It was worse. Had a chance to play the next day. It didn't. We didn't really have it. We didn't have a chance to do much.
Right.
We didn't. We weren't much better. But since Saturday night, we've done a lot of work. The coaching staff, the players, they've watched film. We've watched film. I think we have more clarity. And it was really, I feel so much better after practice than I did from Saturday night until about today at 3 o'clock.
Yeah,
just the chance to be around each other and get after it, have a new sense of clarity, new vision a little bit going forward. They're in it, man. They're in it with us. Like, we got a good group. So we had a good practice, and I feel like, that process is college sports.
Yep.
And you got to be doing it and going through it with people that you can count on and you want to be around. And we have guys that I love to be around. And, it's my job I'm the boss. Sometimes I have to push them,
Right.
And today was a day where they definitely needed to be pushed. And I'm excited to compete tomorrow because I just know that we have guys in our locker room that are tough, are capable of playing very, very hard and representing Baldwin Wallace the right way. So tomorrow's our next chance to do that. I don't think we did a great job of that this weekend, but they're ready to do it tomorrow.
All right, well, Coach, thank you very much for the time. I know it's never easy to talk after a couple of losses, but we do appreciate the time and the professionalism.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. Appreciate what you do, man.
Yeah, thank you,
Go
Coach.
Jackets.
Yeah, absolutely. Go Jackets. He said it best. That's BW men's basketball coach Tom Heil. The Yellow Jackets looking to even things up at 500 and get their record to 2-2 heading into the